Hey, kia ora, Helen Brown's here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast. Now, episode 1372 should be up the top there, but it doesn't seem to be there. We're missing a digit. Oh dear, I'm definitely going to have to go back and fix that one. So we will worry about that. We will go change that afterwards, but it's actually 1,372. How the heck did I end up deleting the 7? I don't know. But on my actual the master of this, for the title of the note area, it actually has 1,372. But for some reason, the piece that gets put into here is one. That's weird. Anyway, we're talking about on this day. So what happened on this day? Well, that's all up to you. Because I thought, what can I talk about today? And then I remembered, hang on, what's today's date? May 3rd. Okay, the day before Star Wars Day, May 4th. And then I thought, well, I know what happened in the US on May 4th. Where else in the world? And I thought, hang on, there's another reason for this date. And I remembered, I know where I was on this day 10 years ago. My brother was getting married in New Zealand, and I was down there for my brother's wedding. It was the first time I'd been to New Zealand. It was in 2013, their 10-year anniversary. And it was the first time I went to New Zealand without Brad. He was unable to fly at the time. So I went down for my brother's wedding, was down in New Zealand for 10 days, arrived a few days early, helped with wedding prep stuff, and then helped set up. We went down to the hall the night before to set everything up. They were having the hall, they were doing the reception in the hall, and then off to the side, there was a outdoor tented area, which was part of the hall, and that's where they were doing the wedding ceremony. So it was a great venue, just a local hall that they were able to hire and that sort of thing. And we went down there, we set up all the tables, we laid out all the not just set them up, we actually put the cloths on them and got them all ready. Actually laid a table, put all the place settings in and everything else, got everything set up for the buffet that they were going to have. It was a lot of fun. Helping them get everything set up and all that sort of thing. And it was just a really, really cool day. And to see my brother getting married, to finally find somebody. Well, how old would he have been? Hang on, I'm trying to remember how old he Oh, no, it's so bad. Was he 50? He would have been 43 at the time when he got married. So he'd finally found the person for him, and so it was a really cool day to go and be part of that. I was also the MC for the reception, and I was going, what stories could I come up with? And my mother pulled me aside and she says, "Will you stop?" I go, "Why?" And she turns around and she says, "He doesn't need to be worrying about what you're going to say." And I went, "Don't worry, it's going to be fine. I'm just playing with him." She says, "No." So I got told to stop teasing my brother by going, every time I was going, I wonder what stories I could tell. Because he just got really, really nervous about what would come out. But I did a really good job. I didn't go into stories. I did my job correctly as the MC, announcing the speakers and everything else, and announcing when they could go eat and all that good stuff. And, I even managed to do my MC jobs while carrying my what was my great nephew. I was able to carry my great nephew because my great nephew was only a few months old at that point. And so I'm walking around with this newborn baby in my arms as I'm doing my MCing, and it was pretty cool. I got to have some baby time, and it was awesome. So I had not my great nephew. Hang on. No, it wasn't my great nephew. He was my nephew. So I got to carry him around while doing my MC jobs. It was awesome. And to catch up with family and friends, and some friends that I hadn't seen for a very long time either. They were friends that I had known during my teenage years that my brother also knew, because he's only 2.5 years younger than me. And but he kept in contact with these people over time, and so I got to catch up with them too, which was really, really cool. It was a great evening, a great event. So why would I bring this up? That's a very good question. Also on this day, back here in the States on May 3rd, was the first day I got to see sparkles. When the RV people had called me up and said, hey, we just found this great RV, it's got everything that you're looking for and all that. And so I went down and had a look at sparkles and went, yep. And I was still deciding on it and all of that. So it was 4 years ago today that I first saw sparkles. And they were in the process of cleaning it all up, like stripping down the outside, taking off the old striping and everything, putting on new striping, giving it a good cut and polish when I saw it. So, so that's what happened. It's like, why would I start going on this day? What's on this day in your life? Have you been writing stories about it? There's time. There is so much that happens to us over our lifetime. Do we know what happened to ourselves on this day 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 4 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago? We were even around 30 years ago, type of thing. What were some of the things that happened to you on this day? And there's some great journals and stuff that are out there. There's like a 5-year journal, and you just write down it's a 5-year journal, and on the page there's 5 years of places to write in your journal, and you literally write like 1 to 2 sentences about what happened to you on that day. It could be, today I purchased sparkles. It could be today I attended Craig and Susan's wedding. It's just something simple like that will help trigger those memories, so that later on, if you want to go back and write some more of your stories, so that future generations can learn about your life and what it was like to live in the times that you live, then those can be like little memory joggers and things. And, you've got 5 years of these little sentences. Every year you write something, every day you write something in there for 5 years. And it's in this one journal. So I thought that's pretty cool that you can do that sort of thing. There's also a company out there called, what's it called? Storyworth. And what they do is that you sign up with them. It's a 12-month program. And every week they send you a question. And the question could be, I'm just going down to their questions, who are your favorite artists? What personal expectations do you hold yourself to? That's a good one. What things do you think you cannot live without? Do you have any regrets in life? Now, I tell you, that's a tough question. That's a tough question. What is one of your fondest childhood memories? And they send you these prompts once a week, and you just sit down and you just answer the question. If you were to do it over, what would you do differently? I love this question because for me personally, I wouldn't change a thing. And when my husband first asked me that, it was after he had his first round with cancer. He goes, not even me getting cancer? I said, not even you getting cancer. He's like, why? And I said, we would not be the people we are today had we not been through the experiences we've been through. We would not be living in California as we are. We would not have met the friends that we have had it not been for cancer. I said, there's a lot of blessings that have come out of you having cancer. And he had to think about that, and he's like, huh. But I do remember when I was doing his eulogy, I talked about this story, and I said, if you were to ask me that same question today, the only thing I would ask for is more time. That was it. That was my one. It wasn't really a regret about a do-over or anything like that, but I wouldn't do anything different. I mean, why? I've had some bumps, and I've had some bumps that I've had to overcome, and some mountains and things I've had to overcome with my life, and different things that I've experienced and stuff that I've done. But when you think about it, we would not be the people we are today had it not been for the experiences we've been through. So why would you do anything differently? And how would you even do anything differently? Because you wouldn't be, if you went back and did stuff differently, you wouldn't be the person you are today in this point, in this time, and in this place and time, at this point, and at this place. What am I trying to say? The brain's just gone. You would not be the person that you are if you go back, and you would not be the person that you are today in this moment in time. You would be somebody different, because you would have had different experiences. You may even be at a different point in life. You may even be in a completely different country. You may not even be where you are today. You may not be with the spouse that you're with now. So there's all sorts of things that if you go and change one thing, it will have that ripple effect, that butterfly effect. If you've ever heard the story of the butterfly effect, about how the wings of a butterfly can create a draft that can then go out there. It's like a ripple in the water. You have the flat water, you drop a stone in the water. What happens? Those ripples go out and get bigger and bigger and bigger and have more impact. The same with a butterfly's wing, with the butterfly effect. The butterfly flaps its wings. It's like that drop in the water, and that flapping of the wings sends out waves of air that can lead up to, and they were saying, can lead up to hurricanes and tornadoes and things. I'm like, that is pretty cool when you think about that, because it's like dropping a stone in the water and having those ripples go out. Another question, have you ever feared for your life? Yes, I have. I will tell that story another day, not telling that one today. What things matter most to you in life? What is the furthest you've ever traveled? These are just some of the questions that come through the Storyworth program, where they they email you a question a week. You type the response, send it back into them, and then after 12 months, so you get asked 52 questions, one a week, 52 questions for a year, and then they put everything into a book and print it and send you a copy of it. And it's all part of the cost. And you can order as many copies as you want. You can, there's a place where you can go and people can come in and order copies of your book, but you have to give them the link to do that. So it's not just anybody. But there is a hardbound book with your photographs in there, because you can add photographs to the stories as you tell them. And it becomes a living legacy. It becomes a living legacy of your life. And, 100 years from now, somebody could pick up that book and go, oh, look, here's my second great-grandfather's book about their life, and start reading and go, oh my gosh, look what it was like to live back then. This is when they grew up. This is when they were born. This is when they died. And, you've got all of that information in there, and somebody can go like you can put in there when you were born, but, when you die, somebody's going to have to go in and manually put that information in there. So it's kind of interesting to look back on different things, on this day. What happened to me on this day? 10 years ago, I was in New Zealand attending my brother's wedding. 4 years ago, I was at an RV yard, putting my, checking out sparkles for the first time, laying my eyes on sparkles for the first time, and getting my first walkthrough of her. There's all sorts of different things that you could be doing on this day. So take time out to have a look and think about, what did I do on this day? What's so special? Is there anything special about this date? I mean, you hear stories, you hear my stories throughout the year. April 25th was yesterday, and you get to hear some of the stories behind that. You also get to learn that on that day, it's my in-laws' wedding anniversary, and in 1915 you had the invasion of Gallipoli by the Anzacs, and there's all these sorts of things. There's history stuff that happens, times and points and times in history. Like this weekend, for example, coming up on May 6th, you've got the coronation of King Charles III and the Queen Consort Camilla. So that's going to be something I am going to stay up for. I think TV coverage starts at 10 p.m. my time and finishes at 6 a.m. Saturday morning. So I'm not planning anything for Saturday just because of that. I might go to bed and have like a couple hours of sleep, then I'll probably be up for the day. But I just want to allow myself to get back into the routine and things like that. And so he says, you're going to stay up for that? And I went, absolutely. I said, this is maybe the only time in my life that I get to see a coronation. I mean, there hasn't been one for 70 years, and I'm not 70 years old. So I have never been around for a coronation. I know my mother and father were alive when the Queen was coronated back in 1952. And actually, I must sit down with them one day and record their memories of that, what it was like for them. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. If you've got people who were around when the Queen was coronated in 1950, for the Queen's coronation in 1952. 1953 she was coronated. She ascended to the throne in 1952, but her coronation wasn't until June of 1953. My apologies. Yes, because this year would have been the 70th anniversary of her coronation. Last year was the 70th anniversary of her ascending the throne on, if I remember correctly, it was February 6th, I think it was, in 1952. How do I remember that date? And people go, why do you remember dates so easy? I said, I associate them. It's February 6th, 1952, I think, is when King George VI passed away. Because February 6th is Waitangi Day in New Zealand, or New Zealand Day, whichever way you want to call it. And it was on that day in 1840 that the Europeans and the Maoris signed the Treaty of Waitangi at Waitangi. That's why I keep thinking that was the date that she ascended the throne, was February the 6th in 1952. I'd have to go back and have a look at that to make sure it's right. But I know that she she was coronated in June in 1953, and it was either on the day of her coronation or the day before that word reached London that Edmund Hillary, later became Sir Edward Hillary, the New Zealander, had with Everest, became the first man to step on the top of Mount Everest. And that was around the time the Queen was coronated. And if I remember correctly, I'm going to have to go look this up too, but it was either on the day of her coronation or just before the days just before her coronation, that word reached London that Edmund Hillary had reached the top of Mount Everest. So that was in 1953. There you go. So, as you know, it's all about associating things together. Oh, that happened. Da, 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 da. You know, like I can tell you who was born on the 9th of December because I share a birthday with them. You know, there was Kirk Douglas. He's now passed. There's Donny Osmond. There's Dame Judi Dench, which I'm quite happy about because that's my little Bond connection. And those are the main three ones. I mean, it's been Donny Osmond for years. That one I knew. But then later on, I learned out that it's also Kirk Douglas's birthday and Dame Judi Dench's birthday as well. So I was super excited about that one because I had a James Bond connection. But anyway, I'm out of here. Go have a super fantastic, sparkling evening, and we will catch you guys back here tomorrow. Spend some time tonight to thinking on this day. What happened on this day? Or even just start on today was boring. I got up, I went to work, I came home, sat down. That's it, pretty much. Or it could be, we got our newborn. He turned 6 months old today, and whatever happened that day. What do you think, Zeph? But anyway, go out, have a super fantastic, sparkling evening, and we'll catch you guys back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hey, Konara. Or we may not. There's a house I may be going to see, so we might be delayed a little bit tomorrow, but we'll keep you posted on that one. Hey, Konara.